Back at the Sunday morning, it's actually Sunday morning at the beautiful Rosen Center Hotel in Orlando, Florida. We're about to begin the day here with a session, but before we get into that session, I want to introduce you to Wyman. Wyman is the CEO, CEO of Americanna Labs, and I have to tell you, I have a little bias, but we've worked with Americanna Labs now for I think couple 3 years.
Yes.
And labs are not all labs are created equal. I have to tell you that. You have people who do the work the way it's supposed to be done, then maybe you have people who don't do the work the way it's supposed to be done. But in the state of Florida, Americanna Labs is the top shelf, and they're located in the Jacksonville area. So Wyman, welcome to Cannabis News Florida.
Thank you very much.
And I have to tell you, we've been trying to do this for about 1.5 years, and our schedules finally met this morning.
Yes.
So that's great. So tell us a little bit about Americanna.
Absolutely, I appreciate you having me on. The unique thing about Americanna is the history that we bring to the table to start off with. We've been in operation over 30 years testing agro, pharma, environmental, and we've transitioned that to assist kind of a new set of clients. And we're in a position now where we're testing for hemp. We're helping the farmers out here for the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. We're testing CBD products, and we also have our license to test medical marijuana here in Florida. So all of that combined, but in addition, it's whatever the client needs.
Right.
So we see dietary supplements coming our way, a little bit of everything, and I think having the breadth of testing available and the experience under one roof, that the team we have is phenomenal. And it's not just putting together a team, because we've been putting together a team for over 3 decades. So what they bring to the table and what they're able to accomplish day in and day out, I think that's really what sets us apart. And then just the customer service.
Right.
We worked very hard to help the clients find the mix that they're looking for,
right,
and working through that. And that's a lot of trial and error, a lot of give and take to get to that point, and that's what we do, and we feel like we do it extremely well.
Well, we're at the hemp conference, but I'm going to segue into the cannabis business too. But in the hemp conference, how do you find dealing with the farmers and the hemp crops? How have you seen that come around there? Because I know in the state of Florida, you got to worry about if you grow it too long and it gets hot, and you can't use the product, and you have a total loss to be able to do that. So step by step, how do you handle that with a hemp farmer to protect them?
To begin with, it's great to have events like this, because we've seen plenty of misinformation out there. However, it's less information year by year, and especially getting out and getting a chance to speak with them face to face. Really, it's laying out the requirements. The Florida Department of Agriculture, again, has some great information available for them, but it's not just getting to that point where they need the necessary testing, but also encouraging them throughout their grow. They're able to send in samples to us that we can test, so they can really track those THC levels to make sure that their product is going to be compliant at the end, and then able to send that compliant test to us. One of the other issues we've run into for the farmers is having a resource of where they can sell their crop, and so we're even taking those steps now to try to develop some partnerships to direct them in the right direction, to get them where they need to be. And there's some great companies here coming into Florida right now, and so that's where we see our role really is supporting it. We've got to bring the industry up.
So not only you're testing, but you're helping the farmers actually sell their product at the end.
Yes.
And I was just talking with somebody else who was here, and we were talking about that it's really the beginning of a supply and demand industry.
Yes.
Because you could grow it, okay, you got to watch it, make sure it doesn't get hot, but you can grow it. But at the end of the day, it's not like selling watermelons.
Right.
Okay, you have to know that buyer is out there to buy your product.
Yeah.
And you've been working with people coming in or being able to sell their product, so you're kind of like a one-stop shop for a lot of these farmers to be able to help them.
Yeah, we want to use any bit of information to help it. I'll be honest, in terms of volume and what we do, really helping the farmers is kind of a passion project from the original co-founders of Americanna. They recognize, hey, this is not really the profit margin for a lab. However, we want to raise the industry.
Right.
We want to bring more credibility, and it's going to have a strong farmer base here in the state of Florida to be able to do that. And so that's the role we're playing with it.
Yeah, and you being able to kind of explore companies to be able to come in to be able to buy their end product is paramount, because I was talking to a couple of people yesterday with farmers, and the question is, well, why would I grow hemp when I know if I grow a fruit, vegetable, watermelons, whatever, citrus, maybe, I know there's a buyer out there. I know I could sell it. I may not sell what I wanted, but at least I could sell it.
Yeah.
If I'm growing hemp, if I don't know that buyer's out there, why would I take that risk to be able to do that? And that's one of the problems.
And unfortunately, I think a lot of farmers got caught in that over the last couple of years without having that direct buyer.
Right.
And that's where we've seen some of the changes in the different farmers that are out there and what they are growing, and as you said, have given it a try and then ended up switching to another crop.
Right. So tell us, I'm going to switch gears here. We're going to build our way up from hemp to CBD now.
Okay.
So talk about the CBD business, which is a very interesting business, and you don't have to grow the plant here. You can get it anywhere and formulate it, mix it. I'm not a chemist, come up. But in the state of Florida, you have to have it tested.
Correct.
Okay, so at what stage do you see that testing taking place? And more people are trying to get into this business.
Yes.
So they buy raw product, they mix it up, and then they put it on the shelf and they put a label on, but it has to be tested. And I know the Department of Ag is really cracking down on that now. So tell us, with a CBD company, how you work with them to be able to make their life easier and compliant with the state.
The best companies we've seen do multiple testing, and they'll do it early, sometimes when they're getting the raw materials, just to verify, even though it may have a COA attached, that it is what they say it is. And then throughout, we've also had issues where, we did early testing on it for the CBD components, and everything was clear, and then we received a final product and there were issues, and it comes to find out it was a flavoring that was added that had the issue. So having been through that, we're able to really help diagnose and go through and try to make it cost effective. We recognize that the costs associated with this can get expensive at times, so trying to break it down and going, all right, let's take it ingredient by ingredient so that it's not testing everything out there at a higher cost to try to figure out what it may or may not be. And I think that's a little bit of the Americanna difference, is taking the time and breaking it down, getting our chief science officer available for calls, going through formulations, and that's who we are. We're just a group of scientists.
Kind of building the product up, so you're able to help, almost like a consultant to a certain degree, with the company, because a lot of times people are getting it, they're mixing it for the benefits, and they kind of know what they're doing, but they may not have that chemist background. They may not, you got to make sure it's right, because at the end of the day, you can put all this together, you can package it, you can do all this, you send it out for testing, and boom, it doesn't work. And that's a problem.
Absolutely, and we try to help avoid that, and we're proud of the fact that we haven't had any product recalls for our entire history, because for our clients, we don't want to put them in that risk category. And our industry is tough enough. I mean, we have a lot of skeptics out there, and we want to make sure that as a third-party analytical lab, we're the ones that help bring credibility with it every step of the way.
And the COAs that you put out there are, you can pick up, and they have to have the QR code on it, and be able to pick up and make sure, and they're legitimate certificates of authenticity. So I think from the CBD standpoint, if you're buying CBD out there, or if you're thinking about getting into the business, if you don't have a tested product, you're making a huge mistake, because ultimately you may not get caught today or tomorrow, but down the road you will, and you'll be suffering. Not only all the product that you have has to be thrown away, but you'll be fined heavily by the Department of Agriculture.
Absolutely.
So it's really nice to be able to have somebody you can work with, like Wyman and Americanna, to be able to do that. Now we'll switch gears again, okay? Now we'll go into the cannabis business. There's 22 MMTCs in the state of Florida right now. Now more and more are operating. I mean, we got a couple of more just came online this past week, I think. Jungle Boys kind of came in, and Planet 13 is about opening up in your neighborhood, I think, in Jacksonville. Aren't they building a place in Jacksonville?
I believe they are.
Yeah. So a lot of new people are coming into town. They got their grows here. What should the MMTC, because a lot of people, they may be using labs already, right? There's no question. If you're, in your CBD business, if you're not using a lab, you're making a mistake. But in the cannabis, if you're not using a lab, you're not in business. That's number one. So it's a little bit different. It's the same, but a little bit different. Tell us why a medical marijuana company should at least try, if they're not using you now, why would they switch and go over to Americanna?
Well, I think at a minimum, an MMTC should be using multiple labs, simply because you have to check, you have to verify. When we're talking about patient safety, and that's what we are with medical marijuana, it's heavily regulated with the Department of Health.
Right.
You need to have that secondary source, and so we've reached out to some MMTCs, ones that we feel like could partner up well with, to try and develop that relationship to say, look, even if we are not a primary source for your testing, have us as a backup. We want to do some testing in advance for them, so they already have a comfort level that with what we're doing, because at some point something's not going to go right, and you're going to need to reach out quickly, and you're going to have product that you need to get out to patients, and to make sure that, hey, this doesn't slow down our production chain, and to get it out there, and to still have that strong confidence that this is a great product, we're not putting anybody at risk, and kind of serving our mission, and our mission is consumer safety, we love it.
All right, so ultimately using multiple labs. I mean, the state of Florida, the Department of Health, you can use multiple labs. You don't have to use the same lab for everything, okay? And it's interesting, it's interesting to be able to use different labs, because I'm going to say this, I know nothing about the business, but all labs are not created equal, okay? And you may test okay here, but it's nice to verify that it's tested here someplace else, and doing that double test, not exact, but you want to be able to make sure that, like you're saying, the product going out there are no hiccups in the product. And every once in a while, maybe not everything, switch over, go to Americanna, give them a shot, make sure that the results you're getting match up to the results you had before. It doesn't hurt to be able to do that, because you all know in the medical cannabis business, if you get caught, and there are some people who had mildew and that kind of stuff, and got caught with their product, that whole batch is gone. It's garbage. And nobody wants garbage. You can't sell garbage. So that's a good. So what else is on the horizon for Americanna from there?
It's, again, as we've expanded our footprint, and what we recognize is the complexities involved with all of this testing is so extreme. It's so highly regulated. Right now, it's we spent a lot of time last year internally working on our methods, and now we're really getting the face out there, trying to connect clients as much as we can to build these relationships. So at events like this, I know some events coming up in June as well. You're going to see Americanna there.
Yeah, the first week will be the first week of June. We'll be at we have another event here put on by Gene Jones, the Florida Medical Cannabis FMCCE. That's the initials, I remember. Too many words in it. And besides that, you also have one for the people down in Miami. You have another event going on, which is a C-Lab event put on my good friend by Robert. Unfortunately, they're kind of on top of each other. And I know Wyman, he's an amazing man, because he's going to be in two places at one time. Not so many people can do that, but he's going to be in two places at one time to be able to see him. But if you're in the business, and if you are an MMTC, people say, well, I'm not sure. Let me go visit them, okay? And I'm going to put an invitation out. If you're in the Jacksonville area, and I've been up there a couple of years ago, I was up there visiting them. If you're in the Jacksonville area, give Wyman a call, stop in, see their operation, talk to their scientists, talk to the people that they have there, and whether you use them now or later, but go in and see the operation, because it's important to understand where your products are actually going to be tested, and the clean rooms, the clean facility, and the professionalism that the organization puts out there. So I would say if you're in the Jacksonville area, take an hour and a half out and visit Americanna.
Absolutely. Open invitation.
Right. And we're about to start, so I'm going to kind of end this. We got the session starting up this morning. And Wyman, it was always great to see you here.
Yes, thank you for all you do.
And thank you for being with us. And we wish you the best of luck, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Take care.